Well, we finally got some sort of update on Wonder Woman for the new DCU. When this thing kicked off, there were a ton of questions about this particular character moving forward, and now we have some definitive answers from James Gunn for the very first time. So let's take a couple minutes to talk about the rebooted Wonder Woman project, what's going on, and what James Gunn actually had to say. Well, it looks like Wonder Woman is indeed going to return to the big screen. Ever since James Gunn kicked off his new DCU, there's been a lot of smoke about whether Gal Gadot would return as the Princess of Themyscira. And honestly, it seemed like for a while she very well might do that. Now, when he kicked off his initial slate, we found out there was a Paradise Lost project, which was reported to be a Game of Thrones type project set in Themyscira, which honestly sounds pretty awesome. But since then, we had nothing on Wonder Woman. Now, I've speculated for a long time that that particular series would likely be narrated by the new Wonder Woman character. It would just make a lot of sense and be a great way to introduce the new actress. But now Gunn has flat out updated what's going on. Now, in a recent Entertainment Weekly interview, and you're probably seeing a lot of stuff about this in the last couple of hours, he actually provided an update on the Amazonians' cinematic future. Now, in that interview, he flat out said, quote, "Wonder Woman's a separate thing, slow moving, but it's moving. We're working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is being written right now." Now, quite honestly, this is the update fans need to hear, because there has been a distinctive lack of some of DC's key characters, especially what him and David Zaslav have referred to as the pillars. Actually, recently David Zaslav flat out said that Superman, Supergirl, Batman, and Wonder Woman were the foundational pillars. And Gunn noted during that interview, quote, "I think that's accurate. Actually, I think he got that from something I said," and clarified that those four characters are absolutely, quote, "incredibly important." Now, obviously beyond this, there's not a lot else officially known about the movie. The plot, who's going to direct the film, and most interestingly, who will be the new Diana Prince, well, these are all completely under wraps. But this confirmation absolutely signals some positive movement for Wonder Woman on the big screen and does seem to confirm her continued presence in the new DC universe. Now, with the status of Paradise Lost really not fully identified in this story, I think we should consider that the two projects might work well in tandem with each other. This will allow Gunn to set up the mythology for the Wonder Woman film while not having to ham-fist all these really deep comic book details into a movie, making it a little easier for the general audience to consume. Now, Gunn in that same interview did confirm there's nobody cast in the character, but I am absolutely starting to wonder if he is the one actually writing this script. In case you didn't know, he did announce he was working on a script for a previously unannounced DCU project. And given the timing, well, these things kind of line up pretty nicely, and I think he wants to have his stamp on the whole core of the universe. We also haven't gotten the script for Brave and the Bold, making me feel like that these three very key characters he has hands on, and he's going to make sure they're presented right, because honestly, they really are the foundation of the DC universe and the classic trinity in the comics. Obviously, Supergirl being big, well, that's a nice thing, but she's not in comic history really at the core of the DC universe, even though she's a very popular character. Now, where she fits into the schedule, that's actually the big question. We recently found out that DC Studios has kind of put a couple projects on the back burner, including Waller, Swamp Thing, Booster Gold, and The Authority, with other projects like Teen Titans seeming to move to the front. We also had that Sergeant Rock movie that was reportedly canceled, but now we're hearing it's just delayed a year in order to do the on-location filming they need to do and make sure that fits into the schedules that everybody can maintain, with one of the most important aspects being the weather. Now, where this leaves Wonder Woman, we're going to have to wait and see. But she's going to have to be one of the most important characters in the DC universe, and with teases of the Justice League coming up, well, she almost has to be there, meaning the likelihood that this is the project Gunn is working on gets ratcheted up a few more notches. Obviously, Wonder Woman's one of the most important characters in DC Comics history. She is at the core of so many classic stories, and something like Superman and Batman, they absolutely have to get right. We're going to watch it pretty closely, but until we know more, what do you guys think? Do you believe James Gunn might be the one actually working on the script for Wonder Woman? And who would you like to see cast as the new Princess of Themyscira? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.